This is James Beattie, back with Save Jersey. I'm joined here by the president, or is it the chairman of the... Chairman of the Bergen County Republican Association, Fernando Alonso, who ran for Assembly in District 38 last year, and the vice chairman of the Bergen County Republican Association, Enriquez. Gentlemen, it's good to be with you. Hispanic Republican Association. Good to be with you, gentlemen. Now, I want to talk about some of the awareness, because as you know, there's every year, and as indicated in the census, the Hispanic population is growing. And we talked about that last year, Fernando, when you were running for Assembly, and how to try and talk to Hispanics in this community about coming to the Republican side. Now, what is going to be the goal of this Hispanic Association, this Hispanic Republican Association?
Well, the goal of the association, or the club, if you want to call it, part of Bergen County, is to really get more Hispanics into the process, especially to understand that the Republican Party has a lot of common objectives and goals as the Hispanic community. Also to get people who are non-Hispanics to understand the issues that Hispanics value. So that's the idea here, is to increase more numbers of Hispanics in the Republican Party.
I was at the meeting here tonight. There was about 15 to 20 people here. Not more than half, but there was quite a few people who were not Hispanic tonight, as a testament to what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's an interest on their part. I think it's quite interesting. When I didn't know that the people that were showing up, so that was a good thing. That's that tells you that there's an interest out there. And they were involved participants in the meeting too, so I thought that was a really good thing.
Now, Albert, you've lived in the area all your life. Now, most of your peers, be them Hispanic or not, probably decide to side with the Democratic side, or just apathetic at the very least. What made you decide to become a Republican?
Well, I guess my peer group is kind of funny, both for my age and my nationality is mostly Democrat. I'm in my 20s, late 20s. And I'm Hispanic, and normally that's a Democrat group. For me, though, my family came from Cuba, and they escaped communism. And a lot of that communism has a lot of similarities with some of the hard-left liberal agendas. And I've seen where that can lead to. So a lot of that influenced my becoming a Republican. Also, I grew up in a Republican household. I remember, I was a Reagan baby. I was born the year Reagan took the presidency again.
To show you how old I am, I was actually a Kennedy Democrat and turned into a Reagan Republican that year.
Yeah, but you have the first Cuban ever to serve in the Senate is up for re-election this year, Bob Menendez, and he's a Democrat.
I grew up right around the corner from Bob Menendez.
And his daughter, Alicia Menendez, is very prominent in the center-left think tank. So not all Cubans are going to become Republicans.
They're actually, funny enough, while most Hispanics go Democrat, the Menendezes are kind of an exception because most Cubans go Republican.
Of course.
Which is kind of a funny flip when you think about it.
So what do you think happened with them?
They just had a different view, and I'm very supportive of any Hispanic who's in politics. I feel the biggest goal this group can have is to empower any Hispanic.
But it goes much deeper than that. I think the interesting part is, and I think most people don't get this, is yes, you had a Bob Menendez who went Democrat. Well, he was in a Democrat area, but he got a lot of Cuban Republicans who stayed Cuban Republicans but voted for him. And why is that? Why? Because he was the Hispanic. They didn't have anybody else. And that's a key thing. The population of the Hispanic community is growing. Here in Bergen County, it's about 157,000 people. We should be able to give them some opportunities to say that the Republican Party, has the same kind of goals, and we want to help you and have them help the Republican Party, both together. And I think that's an important thing. Once we start bringing more candidates to them, they will move forward.
Now let's talk a little bit about going into this year's election. We have under 30 days to go. Now, in 2000, President Bush garnered 35% of the Hispanic vote. He did even better in 2004, garnering 44% in 2004. He's a fluent Spanish speaker, played a little bit of a role in that. He's able to connect with Hispanics on that personal level every time he went to some sort of campaign event. However, 5 days ago, a poll was released. Obama has the Hispanic vote 70 to 20. Seems like there's a reverse trend. What do you attest to that?
Well, what's interesting is I think the Democrats have painted the Republican Party in a certain way to, I guess, convince the Hispanic community the Republicans don't care about them. And I think that was the fault of the Republican Party at the end, is letting them paint them. And that's not true. I mean, if you look at Bush, he had Alberto Gonzalez. He's had a lot of top people that were Hispanic in the administration. And so in the last 4 years, for the Democrats to say they don't care about you, kind of a testament to the Democratic Party being able to do that. But really what happened is the Republican Party wasn't able to counter that. And I think that's a problem because, if you really look at it, there's a lot of Hispanics out there that feel the same way that the Republicans always feel about many issues: economy, work ethic, even immigration issues. But we haven't done a good job yet, and that's a big thing that we have to work on.
It's a failing of communication. Yeah. Again, Hispanics are, for the most part, conservative. Church, family.
And it's not. And it's the great part about it is something that can be changed.
Right.
And all of this is really making that big effort.
And you talk about church. In 2004, Bush, being a Methodist, won the Catholic vote. And a lot of those Catholics are Hispanics, and that pours into it. You said church, family. How do you, on the local level, local issues, you two starting this association in Bergen County, with all the local things going on that we won't get into, the Republican Party in Bergen County being as fractured as it is, how do you go about bringing Hispanics into the Republican Party going forward? Into this election and going forward and after? Well,
look, it's a tough job of us getting out there and talking to people. And I think as we go along, we got a lot of great people in the organization that know how to go out there and be interviewed and get the word out in the media. That's a key thing. But the real big thing is that, the Hispanic community has the same issues. It's about jobs, it's about taxes, waste in government. And so we've got to show them that we care about that, but in their point of view. I think we start doing that, we're going to get a lot more people involved.
Now, finally, Fernando, nothing's confirmed yet, nothing's on paper, but you ran for assembly last year. You might be running next year. What do you have to do to turn the tide? It was a very close election last year in a very contested District 38. Should you be running again next year, what do you have to do? You lost by about 6 points last year. 53 to 47, if I'm not mistaken. What do you have to do to get over, get 4 points over to get to that 51 at least?
Well, one of the things I noticed is that there were a lot more Hispanics in the county than the Republicans statewide knew about. And so I went down to places like Lodi. Now, they were giving me a hard time. Why go down there? And actually, if you look at the numbers, I did actually very well there because we really went into the houses, and actually Albert was with me. There were a lot of Hispanics that were Democrats that voted for me, which is an interesting thing because it said they didn't know there was a Hispanic there. So, that helps a little bit. All we have to do is carve a little bit out, take a little bit away from them, and we'll win this.
Now, 38, for those of you who don't know, is 12 towns that are in Bergen County.
13.
But then there's one in Passaic.
That's right. 12 in Bergen and 1 in Passaic. That's right.
And Rich Goldberg, who he ran with last year, won't be running.
Well, that's a sad thing, and I understand that because he's going to be running for mayor. But he is a great candidate and truly a great individual. And I had a great time with him. And by the way, there's a lot of Hispanic students of mine in the program that live in Hawthorne, and they love him. So it's too bad. That'll be a loss for us if he doesn't run with us.
Now, this association is fairly new. You had a decent turnout for your first meeting. Are there any events coming up that you want to let Save Jersey know about, the Save Jersey viewership?
Well, one of the things we were talking about tonight is to do things a little bit differently. And we're going to try to have monthly meetings. We're going to have the business part of it, but we're going to try to have some fun, too, by going to restaurants and getting people that not only are Hispanics, but non-Hispanics to understand the Hispanic culture with food. And so we'll be able to go out there and have some fun. Our plan right now is hopefully for the debate that's coming up on the 22nd. We'll probably be someplace here in Hackensack. We're thinking about a Casual Havana, and we'll have a debate watching party and have some great Cuban food. And hopefully more people will come out and we'll have some fun there.
Well, Fernando, Albert, thanks for meeting with me here at the BCRO after a nice meeting. And it's good to be with you guys.
Thank you, James.
And stay tuned to Save Jersey for so much more coverage.